Hi there, it's Nicole for Ellen Hudson here today, and I've got a card showcasing scene building with a pattern paper background. And I am using some of the Pink Fresh Studio pattern paper and embellishments with some of the latest Essentials by Ellen release stamps and dies to create a kind of little monkey flying high in the clouds. What inspired this design was the pattern paper from the Pink Fresh Studio Felicity paper pad. I like those little hearts in the background, so I thought I would take some of the new cloud dies, and those are from, I want to make sure I get the name right for you. These are the Silver Linings dies, and then I am going to be using the Sock Monkey Surprise with the Bearwear stamps and also the coordinating dies for both, and then the Warm Fuzzies Greetings. So lots of different Essentials by Ellen stamps and dies being used here as well. I started by stamping my images on some smooth white cardstock, and then I'm going to be coloring them in today with some Prismacolor colored pencils. I have listed the pencil colors and their number, whichever is easier for you. That way, in case you're curious exactly which color of colored pencil I'm using, it's shown right there for easy reference. Now, I colored in my monkey first. In fact, I accidentally did not have my camera turned on, so I am recoloring this image. This was actually the first image I stamped, and it wasn't as perfect as the other, but just for purposes of showing you how I colored the monkey, I am going to be using it here. I'm using about 3 shades in the brown color family, kind of scribbly coloring. You can see I went darker in some areas where I wanted the shading to be darker. A lot of times with colored pencils, I like to use Gamsol and a stump pencil, but I have found lately that I have really been loving using my Prismacolor colorless blender pencil again, and I've been using it a lot. It's super easy to color with. It's going to blend those colors out really nicely. That's what I'm doing here. You can go back over it if you need to, and kind of add more color, add more shadowing if you need to. I'll be doing that in a little bit if too much of it blends out. One thing I would suggest is maybe rubbing off the tip on some scrap paper, because you're going to be picking up some of that color that you're using. So if you color something like red, which I accidentally got some of the red outside the lines there, you don't want to spread that around. So you want to clean off the tip of that pencil on a scrap paper. Maybe you even use your pencil sharpener if you need to, but just so you don't cross-contaminate any colors. And you can see that colorless blender pencil blends those colors so beautifully, gives you that nice, smooth, finished look, and just creates some really cute colored images. I'll go in with a little pink for his cheeks. One thing I have noticed, even more so than when coloring with other coloring mediums, is that the eyes are going to get kind of a dull look to them because you're coloring, if you color over them, which I did. Maybe if you went around them really carefully, you wouldn't get this as much, but they're going to be a little dull. They're going to have a little bit of that colored pencil finish over the top. So I like to always go back with a pen of some sort. I like the glaze pens, and I'll be coloring in the eyes. I'll show you that here in just a little bit. For my umbrella, I wanted it to be really bright rainbow kind of fun, but I also wanted to make sure I pulled the colors from my background pattern paper, that little kind of falling hearts paper. And that particular design has shades of red, kind of a peachy pink, yellow, green, aqua blue, I think even some gray, but I didn't want to put gray in my umbrella other than the handle. So what I did was I took those bright colors, and I'm going to use those for each section of the umbrella. I'm using 2 shades per color family, and I'm just going to kind of lay down my dark color lay down my lighter color. I'm going to do this for all of them. Then I'm going to take my blender pencil again and blend that all out for a smooth look. Now I did already do the red section. I wanted to make sure I kind of liked that before I committed to it all the way across. So I'll go back now with my blender pencil, blend in the pink. Just kind of wipe that off on some scrap paper again before I move on to yellow, then green. Make sure I clean that off again because the colors are definitely getting darker, and then the aqua. So this is going to be a really nice pop of color. There is a lot of white, a nice base white in these Pink Fresh Studio pattern papers. And then the monkey is in neutral tones. So I definitely want to pull in pops of color where I can. And the umbrella was a great place to do that. Another great accessory image is going to be this cute little bow. So the monkey can be a girl or a boy depending on how you accessorize him or her. And I decided to go ahead and make it a little girl sock monkey and put a little pink bow on top of her head, which I think is really cute, very, very fun. I even pulled in a little bit of red into the bow just to give it a little more depth and dimension, but I want to keep the emphasis on the bow being pink. And then the monkey is holding the umbrella in one hand, but I loved the banana image from the Sock Monkey Surprise stamp set, and so I went ahead and colored in the banana using some yellow colored pencils because I thought that would be fun for the sock monkey to hold in her other hand. So kind of just like, this is a get well soon themed card, and so I thought that would be a fun little, you know, having her little banana, getting to feeling better, something like that. I used a lighter color of yellow for the banana itself, some darker yellows, and even a little kind of a yellowish orange to help highlight the banana peel. Once the banana is colored, I just need to skip back over to the umbrella itself and add a little bit of color to the handle. You could go any way you wanted to here, but I decided to go with neutrals and I chose a gray. And I in fact used this same colored pencil for not only the handle, but the bar as well, holding the umbrella. So I'm going to color that a little bit lighter, as you can see, and just blend it out with my colorless blender pencil. But then I'm just going to go in with a much heavier hand on the handle itself and darken that up. Once all of my images are completely colored, I'm going to take the coordinating dies and use some Post-it tape to hold them in place. I did go over my umbrella and bow with the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen before I die cut them. A lot of times I wait till after. I'm definitely going to wait till after for the eyes, the glaze pen for the eyes. But I decided I wanted to see how they'd look with the glitter pen because I think it adds a nice glittery, shimmery finish, and I really like how it turned out. But then I will take all those dies, I'm going to use some Post-it tape, hold them in place. I can run them all through with one pass of my machine, which I love, a little bit of a time saver tip there. I used some metal snips scissors to cut these apart. And then just simply line them up over the image, Post-it tape, and then run them all through my die cutting machine. One word of caution, I did kind of puncture my finger with one of the dies. Those little sharp edges where they connect, be careful. I ended up having to get a little band-aid there for my finger because like I said, I did puncture it. Here is that black glaze pen. I'm going to go over the eyes with that and then let that completely dry. So I'm going to just set it aside for a little bit before I add the white highlights. I have also trimmed that green stripe from that diagonal stripe paper. I loved these two pattern papers, the heart background and then the one with that great yellow triangle border, but I felt like it needed a pop of color to differentiate between the two patterns. So I just very carefully lined it up with my paper trimmer and trimmed it out. And then because it's so long, I can simply just trim off the ends. I'm going to use a little zig glue pen to draw a line of glue between these two patterns and then glue that green stripe in place. And then I'm just going to snip the ends of the green stripe, and then I am going to die cut my background panel here, those layered papers, to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. This is a standard A2 size card. It's going to completely cover the front of an A2 card base. And what I particularly loved is, and one of the reasons I chose that yellow paper, is that the greeting is going to fit underneath those yellow triangles on that border there. I love the little typeset of these particular greetings from the Warm Fuzzies stamp set, and so I'm going to stamp my first greeting here that says "Under the Weather," and that's going to go on the front of the card, and I'll add an additional greeting on the inside of the card. I'm going to lay out a few of the images to make sure everything is going to fit. And then I will die cut the additional images that I need from another pattern paper from that Pink Fresh Studio paper pad. I'm going to die cut all 3 clouds from the Silver Linings die collection. I think they look great from that paper and kind of even coordinate with the Silver Lining name of that die collection. I've attached my clouds to the background. A couple of them are flat, and then that third, the smallest one, is raised with a little foam adhesive. And then I attached my monkey with foam adhesive, the banana with foam adhesive. Portions of the umbrella have a little foam adhesive, but the rest just have some glue dots because it's going to be on top of that third cloud, which already has some foam adhesive. And then I'm going to finish with some awesome Pink Fresh Studio embellishments. The color block wood stickers, and also the great little sequin puff stickers. Add a little scattering of those. I'll attach this whole panel to a card base. Try to choose colors that coordinate with those hearts in the background of the pattern paper. And then on the inside of the card, I am going to go ahead and grab another greeting from that Warm Fuzzies stamp set that says "Feel Better Soon," and I'll stamp that right there on the inside of the card. And that will finish up this Get Well Soon card design showcasing new Essentials by Ellen stamps and dies, as well as Pink Fresh Studio paper and embellishments. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch you the next time.